All right, guys, black is here. You know, people don't understand how quickly you can damage your engine by running it low on oil or running it hot. Now, the last car I ran hot was my Cadillac DeVille. Okay, I deliberately ran it hot because I knew the engine was gonna have to be rebuilt or replaced, so I just kept driving it. You know, even though it was running hot. Now I did when I pulled to a red light, I did cut the engine off while I was sitting at the red light, and it was able to start back up. And I drove it to the next red light and cut it off, and I drove it home. And that's the reason why I had to. Well, I mean, it probably ran hot before then also, but to be honest with you, my engine ran hot, but it never did like smoke just pouring out the hood. It never ran that hot, you know. But the very first time it ran hot, when I first got the car, I was driving. I got on the expressway. I was going to the laundromat, I think. I got on the expressway, and I was accelerating up the on-ramp, and it sounded like a fan belt shredded, is what it sounded like, right? But I still had power steering, so I figured I don't know what it was, but it can't be a fan belt. But I forgot that the water pump sit on the back of the motor by itself, and it has a fan belt. Well, anyway, I was driving the car, and I don't know, maybe 5 minutes later, I looked down and the temperature gauge was on hot. As soon as I saw that, I put the car in neutral and cut the engine off. I didn't drive it until the next exit. I cut it off right then and there. So I coasted to the side of the road, popped the hood. At that time, I saw water running out the motor. But again, it never got like steam coming. I mean, this was the very first time. I let it cool off. I drove it to the next exit. I put some water in it. I drove it back. Well, I drove it back to another gas station. About halfway, almost home. Stopped, put some more water in it, and then drove it home. But I was noticing that I was putting water in the engine, and usually, you know, when you put water in the engine, you see the water circulating, but this water I didn't see circulating because at the time I didn't know the water pump wasn't working. But that was the first time I ran it hot. But again, I didn't drive it to the next exit. A lot of people believe like, well, it's running hot, I just drive to the next exit. No, when your car is running hot, I mean, when it get on H, you need to pull over and stop. Now, when it's like 3/4 the way, 75%, you need to stop as soon as you can. But when it gets to hot, when it's on H, you need to shut the engine off right in and there. And another thing is this low oil stuff. And I've met I ain't gonna say a bunch. I've met several people who ride around until the oil light come on, and then they want to put oil in their car. When your oil light comes on, it means you have almost no oil pressure, okay? You don't drive, if you have an oil leak or your car burn oil, you don't drive the car until the oil light come on and then put oil in it, because that's what a lot of people believe, that's when they should put oil in the car. You know, a friend I knew had a Hyundai Sonata. I forgot what year it was, but it was the 2.4 that had 185 horsepower. It was normally aspirated. And I wanted to drive this car because I'm like, damn, I want to see what 185 horsepower feels like in a 4-cylinder, right? Because I've never driven one with that much power. I get into the damn car, start it up, and I'm just driving in the parking lot and the freaking oil light comes on. I pull over and check the oil. He started telling me, I'm gonna change the oil Friday. And it was like Wednesday. I'm gonna change the oil Friday. I checked the oil, there's no oil on the stick. And I'm like, dude, there's no oil on your stick. And he started saying, well, I'm gonna get the oil changed Friday. I'm like, do you not realize you can't drive your car like this? And a few months later, the motor locked up. But, you know, whatever, man. Whatever. I mean, yeah, I ran my lawnmower with no oil in it, but it didn't lock up the motor. The motor is knocking, As a matter of fact, this happened, I think 2 years ago. And I put oil in it, and hell, I'm still using the lawnmower. I mean, it knocks, but it still runs. Is it because it's a Honda or what? But anyway, a car, the lawnmower's only $700. You can go buy another lawnmower cheap. But a car, engine, I don't play that. I don't play that at all.